Today, we're going to cover requesting records entirely online as a healthcare provider for continuing care purposes. One of the features that has been built into the platform is a secure way to request continuing care records entirely online. HXE validates all healthcare providers through their NPI number when they register. The HXE team goes through the NPI registry and contacts the provider based off the information in the registry and the number that they provide. Once they are positively identified, then the provider's profile will be toggled to allow submitting continuing care requests. We're going to log in now as the test clinic. This is assuming that you've already registered as a healthcare provider and you've gotten the approval confirmation email from HXE. Once that happens, you'll have a couple more options under Create Request, one of which is for submitting continuing care requests, and the other feature is Initiate Patient Request. Initiate Patient Request allows you to start the request process for the patient. When a patient calls to obtain their medical records, you can ask them for their email address, which will send them a link to an online HIPAA authorization form. This feature allows the patient to submit their request entirely online through HXE. The patient will be able to sign with their phone, and you have a signature to check against your chart. Moving back to continuing care requests, if we navigate there, we can search in the recipient information section. This is an Omnibox search feature, so it will do full text search of any provider name. Typing hospital will pull up all the facilities with hospital as part of their name that are registered in the system. It defaults to a radius of 50 miles, so you can select from the drop-down a further distance if needed. If something doesn't pull, you can create a new entry. If I type in Acme Hospital of Laverne, it may not pull up, and at this point, I can add a new recipient and fill in their information here. The third box specifies how it's delivered. Fax will go over traditional fax via our eFax server. Email will send them a secure email link to register to view the request pages, and mail will require you to print the PDF and mail it off to them. Mailing is the one that you actually have to take further action on your own and print and mail the documents. We'll use a test Hospital 1. You can see the different departments. In particular, Test Hospital 1 has a business office and a medical records department. For this particular request, we're going to assume we're wanting to send it off to the medical records department. Once you click on the entry, their information will populate below. HXE registered organization tells you that this request will be delivered electronically to them, and they'll get an email notification that the request is waiting. Once we select a recipient, we can complete the form. You can submit your urgency right here. Stat is, please process my request within the next 15 minutes because the patient is here. 3 hours is for the next 3 hours, so choose accordingly. Only use stat when the patient's actually there or you need it within the next 15 minutes. It allows the other healthcare providers to prioritize their workload and take care of truly urgent stat requests. If you don't choose any option, it will default to 5 business days. In this particular case, we'll submit a 24 hours request and receive it tomorrow. After that, I'll type in John Doe as our patient with a date of birth of 12/15/1950. For the MRN, leave it blank if you don't know the other facility's MRN. Don't put your MRN. They will later update that with their own MRN. Choose Recent Pertinent Information or abstract what parts of the chart you want. Most often, we'll assume that you'll want the Recent Pertinent Information for the most recent dates of service. If you do want specific dates, then you can fill in the date range below. We'll leave that blank for now and request the most recent. When I press Submit, it'll go off to the healthcare provider and we see that the email notification was sent to them. From there, we can double-check our submitted requests and you'll see it on top over there. So this is for patient John Doe and its status is New Request. As the facility views the request, works on it, then ultimately uploads the records, you'll see the status change as you refresh the screen. If you need to message them because they're taking a little too long, You can submit a message, and it will send an email notification to them that they have a new message in their dashboard. Finally, I'll show you in the Incoming Request section what the documentation looks like that's being sent. Choosing one of the ones that we've previously processed, I can go to View Request, and you can see at the top right there's the 3D barcode. It says Provider Authenticated by HXE. You can scan with your phone to verify. That will open a link to the HXE website to view the provider details. In order to respond to an HXE request, an account is not needed. The recipient can just go on hxe.io/upload and put in these 2 verification codes, and then they'll be able to upload the records. On the second page is our continuing care request form that we completed earlier. And again, the 3D barcode is in a larger format here, and there's also the URL. The 3D barcode contains a link that can be scanned with a phone and directs to an encrypted URL that validates the status of the healthcare provider. Those barcodes are encrypted and expire after 24 hours. This makes them secure and prevents others from stealing the barcode and putting it on their request. That's the requesting process on HXE for a continuation of care request. Hopefully your office will find this a more convenient and secure way of requesting medical records with fewer phone calls and follow-ups.